He was a gangster, a bootlegger, a racketeer, and a boss of Chicago outfit. The name Al Capone epitomizes 1920s American gangsterism. A child from an Italian immigrant family who rose to infamy as a leader of the Chicago Mafia during the Prohibition era. A man so-called Scarface, amassing an approximate fortune at $100 million as the head of the infamous crime syndicate. Al Capone was feared by all. Many gangsters of the same era originated from impoverished backgrounds. However, this was not the case for Al Capone. He was born into a respectable professional household under Gabrielle, a well-educated barber, and Teresa Capone. On January 17, 1899, the Capones moved to a poor Brooklyn tenement where the young boy was exposed to wide cultural diversity, furnishing the unadulterated kid to a criminal legend. Suffice it to say, it was, in reality, the brutal and strict Catholic school beset with violence and fear that blemished the naive boy. Despite displaying qualities of a promising student, at the age of 14, Alphonsus Capone was expelled from his school. It was then when he first met his brother in crime, Johnny Torrio. Torrio was more than a mentor. He was a messenger of the American gangsterism. By joining Torrio's James Street Boys gang, which was later renamed the 5 Points Gang, Al Capone was able to pull out his inner demon. In 1925, Torrio retired and Capone soon became the king of Chicago, running gambling, prostitution, and bootlegging rackets whilst gunning down rivals and potential enemies who may hamper his conquest. Capone eventually settled down as a bookkeeper after marrying an Irish middle-class woman named May Coughlin, though his crime business did not come to its demise. Capone soon returned to Torrio, and after Torrio was shot by rival gang members, he quickly assumed a leadership position. The new boss expanded Torrio's vice industries while controlling speakeasies, bookie joints, gambling houses, brothels, horse and racetracks, nightclubs, and distilleries, making $100 million a year. Although Capone prompted dozens of deaths and even killed with his own bloody fist, he was well known around his friends for treating people generously. Despite having developed short temper, his strong sense of keen leadership, loyalty, and honor strengthened relationships. In fact, he was the first man to open a soup kitchen after the 1929 stock market crash. He donated clothes, food, and even money to those in need. When people saw him at ball games, they cheered for his kind donations to various charity institutions. St. Valentine's Day Massacre on February 14, 1929 was the most notorious murder committed by Capone and his men. It all happened when Capone decided to challenge his rival Bugs Moran and his North Siders gang. With death toll of 7 workers, Capone's reputation was tarnished. On March 13, 1931, Al Capone was charged for tax evasion. The grand jury returned an indictment to the gangster with 22 counts of tax evasion, which was over $200,000. He was also charged with 5,000 violations of the Volstead Act. In August 1934, Al Capone moved from a prison in Atlanta to Alcatraz in San Francisco. His health exacerbated and was released after serving 6.5 years in prison, primarily due to good behavior. In January 25, 1947, he died of cardiac arrest at age 48.